Praise the Lord, everybody. I've got a Bible study for y'all today. And I'm going to start a two-part series on... I'm going to continue on my kick on temptation. And I'm going to do a two-part series beginning this week and then do another part next week. I'm going to go ahead and get into the first part. And I'm going to turn to the book of Exodus, chapter 14. And I'm going to read from the Message version. And I'm going to read from verse 5 through 9. When the king of Egypt was told that the people were gone, he and his servants changed their minds. And they said, "What have we done, letting Israel, our slave labor, go free?" So he had chariots harnessed up and got his army together. He took 600 of his best chariots with the rest of the Egyptian chariots and their drivers coming along. God made Pharaoh, king of Egypt, stubborn, determined to chase the Israelites as they walked out on him without even looking back. The Egyptians gave chase and caught up with them where they had made camp by the sea. All Pharaoh's horse-drawn chariots and their riders, all his foot soldiers there, and pardon my my mispronunciation, but Pi Hahiroth, opposite Baal Zephon. And I'm going to title this Bible study, The Relentless Pursuit of Temptation. When the children of Israel left Egypt after the Passover, Pharaoh had a change of heart and chased after them with quite a powerful Egyptian army. When you leave your sin and have no intention of coming back, the devil is not going to let that fly. You can expect a fight. Like Pharaoh wanted Israel to remain slaves in Egypt, Satan wants us to remain slaves to sin for eternity. Pharaoh chased after Israel with a great army, at least 600 chariots and more. Every single chariot of Egypt went after the children of Israel, with captains in every unit. You can sure expect all hell to come against you on the road to freedom. The most dangerous and pesky chariot division the devil employs is, of course, temptation. Temptation relentlessly pursues all people of God who are born into sin. Since all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, there is no one immune to temptation. And I'm going to go back to the King James Version. Going to read a couple scriptures I read last week. The first one is in 1 John chapter 2, verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. So we have the big three sins. You should recognize the biggest chariots that come against us, though. Lust of the flesh, and let me remind you, that is the physical, mental, and aesthetic pleasures. Lust of the eyes, whatever you look at, you envy, covet, etc. And pride of life, the boasting of possession, status, etc. Our past sins will also be chasing after us relentlessly. That's another pesky chariot division. Now there are a couple things that I want to touch on. I'm gonna go ahead and list 3 of the most common dangers or temptations. A cigarette contains a chemical called nicotine. Nicotine is an extremely addictive and dangerous chemical. Once you try a cigarette, before you know it, you're hooked. It takes a huge fight to break the bondage of nicotine and smoking, but not impossible. Alcoholism starts with one drink. Drinking socially has the potential to lead to more and more constant drinking, leading to a lifetime of alcoholism. Pornography addiction starts with one look that pleases your flesh. Once you see an image, the image is grafted into your brain, and your flesh desires for more and more until your life is consumed with it. Now, the Pharaoh was prepared to kill the Israelites if necessary. He was hell-bent on to stop them from getting their freedom. He might as well crush them before they get their freedom, or so he thought. Gonna turn to the book of James, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust have conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Temptation, lust, and sin always lead to death. Smoking pumps your body full of nicotine, smoke, tar, and many carcinogens that have the great potential of causing cancer, ultimately leading to death. Alcohol destroys your brain cells and your liver. A lifetime of alcohol consumption has a great risk of developing cirrhosis of the liver, liver failure, and death. Pornography addiction is not deadly physically, but it consumes and wastes your life away over time. It destroys your reputation with others. Another kind of death. Now, in conclusion, when you decide to leave your sin and Egypt behind, you better expect a fight. Temptation will relentlessly pursue after you until the day you die. It will always pursue after you, always trying to get you back into bondage. The devil shows no mercy at all in his pursuit. What do we need to do when temptation chases us to the Red Sea and we have our backs to the wall? Well, stay tuned for part 2 next week. God bless y'all in Jesus' name.